Hey guys, today is June 26th of 2017, and I'm about 5 years and 5 or 6 months on testosterone, and I just want to do a little talk, a little update about some things. I think the reason why I continue to do these videos is because I continue to learn things about myself, and usually it's processed through my transition. And I think it's very vital that I share these things, because you just never know. There's going to be that one person that might be hearing you for the first time, or might be hearing you for the 100th time, but it's that one time that they hear you, that it does something for them. It helps them, or opens their eyes, or confirms something. Regardless of what the situation is, I continue to do these videos hoping that my experience can help somebody else for the positive, because my life, through all the agony and through all the bad decisions and choices I made, I am an example that if you put your trust in a higher divine, that you will come through it. Doesn't matter what you worship, as long as you believe in the good, I feel that you have a chance of growing and receiving good. So anyway, one of the things that I constantly do, I've had phalloplasty. I'm 2 years post-op come this August. I've had the implant. I've had testicular implant. So I'm pretty much am done with my physical transition as far as what I have in my control. But one of the things I do constantly is I check. I don't check. When I come up on any kind of guy or group of guys, or I'm on watching TV, like over the weekend we were watching college baseball, the World Series, I look at their crotch. Now, I don't look at their crotch for any sexual thing or turn on, but I look at their crotch for curiosity of how they hold themselves, how it shows, how if you notice anything. And the one thing I realized in the baseball uniforms is that they don't show a lot. And I found this guy on YouTube. He's called Undie Guy, I think it is, Undie Guy. And he goes on there and he I can't even think. He reviews underwear, and he's a gay guy. But when I found him, I was looking at underwear to where, what would keep me in front and away from between my legs, or laying on my thigh. And so I found him, and I found it interesting. I kept watching him and watching him, because I was watching to see how he laid, to see how he talked about, the underwear and how he wears them and stuff. And it really helped me work through the feeling, or the consciousness of my crotch. Worried about if the bulge is too much, worried about if I'm going to. And the more I think about that, the more I think how hard we are on ourselves. We worry more about things that guys can care less about, and it's because we weren't socialized as males, and we don't want to stand out, or we don't want we don't want anybody thinking we're perverts, or whatever the case may be. We are still subconscious about our crotch. And I want you guys to know that having phalloplasty and having a package I've come into my own on it. The number one underwear I wear is UFM, and sometimes even the UFM, even though it holds everything together, it can hold me away from my body. So because I have the semi-rod implant, to me I look a little bit more bulging, but I've been told by many people they don't notice it when I bring it up, you know, and I'm like, oh, you're looking at my crotch. But I think it's just natural for people to do. Guys look at women's breasts, women look down at their guy's crotch. It's a natural thing, and you know, we're made to feel that it's wrong, but it's not. So anyway, if I smell I got something black in my teeth, I just had some chia seeds in my smoothie, so forgive me. But I've noticed that, you know, over the weekend, about looking at the crotches on the guys' uniforms and stuff, and thinking, you know, just let it go. Just let it go. I have went into my jockey underwear that I bought prior to phalloplasty, and I've bent my guy. Usually so this is my pubic area, and this is my phallus. So usually I bend him up to the side here, and then hold everything in my pouch from the UFM like that. And so I have been bending him over so he looks like this, and I was worried about that because I don't want the rod to buckle to bend it out of place, because it's packed really tight in my underwear when I do that. But I like that every once in a while, because I just like for him to hang down, and I don't like him to hang down wearing loose boxers like some guys do, because my guy, with the weight of the semi-rod, it hangs down to the middle of my thigh. I'm only like 5 inches, but it pulls my skin down. It hangs down to the middle of my thigh. So I like to bring them up and the package to be right there in my pubic area. So yeah, so that's an ongoing thing, but we just gotta let it go, you know. Even you guys who haven't had the phallo, that pack and stuff, just own it. I've heard some of these guys on here say, just own it. And it's true. Let it go. Because if you watch college football, they do not, a lot of those guys do not work the jock straps anymore. And I was watching them last year, I think, on ESPN, and I saw this one wide receiver running, and I swear his penis was this long, flapping all over the place with him running. Now here's the thing, these guys, they're born with their penises, they're born with it flapping and laying all over their legs. However, it doesn't bother them. They don't notice it. Just like women don't notice their breasts when they're going up and down because they're jogging, or they hang over when they bend over, because you're raised with that. I mean, you're born with that, and so you mature and grow with that. So it's not something like us, you know, where we're constantly subconscious of our crotch, or the male to females where they are subconscious about their breasts and the size of them. So that's one thing that just keeps going on. And you know, one day, I mean, I'm a lot calmer now and don't think about it as much. Every once in a while I do, but you know what, honestly, I've never had anybody look at me weird or made me feel uncomfortable. I've never had any of my family feel comfortable enough to come up and say, you know what, you really look like you got a hard on. No one's ever done that, and I think they would, considering they know that I would want to know that. So it's been pretty nice just coming into my own with that whole situation. I wish that I didn't have so much skin there, because it probably would not hang so long, but that's okay, you know. It's all good. We, you know, the whole thing is that we keep growing as ourselves and into this new form. We're the same person inside, but we have a new form now. And then you got confidence that either comes with it, or you've got somebody who is on the defense over it. And then, you know, there's where people misconstrue testosterone, thinking people get more angry on testosterone than what they were before testosterone, and that's not true. It's how people handle themselves. And some people feel more confident, so they don't take any guff off anybody, so that might seem like they're, you know, they've got an attitude or whatever, or they've got a temper, or they, you know, I don't know, but maybe perceived differently. And blamed, the testosterone's blamed, but it's a myth. You do not get, once you have it, if you have a temper, it's going to increase because you're either being defensive or you're overconfident about your new self. So, you know, just kind of watch that for yourselves. If you find yourself like copping an attitude because someone might look at you weird, it's your own subconscious, and you've got this defense mechanism, and that's what's happening there. Let it go. You've got to learn not to care what other people think. That's one of the hardest lessons we have as humans. No matter where you are in life, no matter where you've been born, no matter who or what you've been born, the thing is that we tend to be very judgmental one from another. And if we're different in any way, and we're wanting to become ourselves, our authentic self, in that transition, then we tend to really care what other people think. And then on the other hand of it, then people cop an attitude and really don't care what people think. And then their actions are a little bit more boisterous, and people perceive them in a different way. So if you understand what I'm saying, try to take a deep breath. Let it go. Whatever people are going to say and whatever people are going to do, they're going to do it regardless if you want them to or don't want them to, regardless of what you do or don't do. Humans are the worst at being pleased. And especially people who are not happy with themselves, they tend to be the worst critics because they want to take that attention off themselves and put it towards someone else. Or it's jealousy, or, you know, it's whatever it is. But the more I wake up each day and just be myself, and that's what I do. How you see me on the videos, that's how I am in life in general every day. I just, you know, my hardest thing right now is getting through. I'm working on not caring what people think and say, and it doesn't mean about my transition, it just means in general. That's one of the things I'm doing now, because I want to be able to be a ricochet target. So if someone wants to pounce something at me, I want it to bounce right back at them without me having to do anything. And that's what I'm working on every day, you know. You know, the loss of family members always causes some kind of, you know, uproar, whether it's about a distant relative or somebody who thought what. And it happened in ours, and it still is. But you know what? The bottom line is that you just put one foot in front of the other and you keep going. And you got to let those people who have ways of thinking, let it go, because there's nothing they can do and there's nothing you can do to change it. It hasn't changed by now. It ain't going to change. But yeah, so everything's good as far as phalloplasty. And you know, I did a quick one on my arm. Everything's good with my arm. No problems. I'm very happy with myself. I like who I love who I see in the mirror. And my next pathway is going to be getting my body back into how I want it to be somewhat with what I have to work with, and healing my emotions. So take it one day at a time, and always make your journey as simple as possible. We'll talk to you later. Bye.